And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit, like God's property. It's hard to market, so we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. 'Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the
Growing numbers of African American women in Maryland and across the nation are leaving traditional church worship. All of them are in search of something else, a spiritual belief that connects them to their ancestors and where they can feel more empowered to control their own well-being. They have found it in ancient forms of spiritual contact. Some call it witchcraft, a term they accept and embrace. For most of us, this is how we worship, a tradition that predates us all. This, too, is an ancient art of worshiping, not to God the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, but to spirits and deities that span the oceans and date back to pre-slavery days in Africa. Are you, in fact, witches?
Whatever the situation calls for. So if you come to me with pleasantries, you being respectful, you'll get Glinda, the good witch of the suburbs. But if you come at me with negativity and meanness and disrespect, then you'll get Eveline, your worst nightmare.
They have many names and titles and ranks within their belief system. They are college-educated professional women who've chosen to believe that theirs is a truer example of worship that is inclusive of the genders. It connects them, they say, to their ancestors and fills a need not found in traditional worship, though most of them grew up in the church.
I was raised Christian, all Christians in my family. In fact, my grandfather was a preacher in the South.
I also grew up Christian. I grew up Anglican in the Episcopal Church. The older I got, the more disconnect I felt.
I was raised Baptist. My father is a deacon, my mom a deaconess. I was in church all the time.
These women are part of a sect, Ile Ola Afefe Osameji, spiritual temple. They worship and offer prayers to Oshun, a predominant deity.
She's the deity or the Orisha of aesthetics, beauty, sex, sensuality.
There are growing numbers of African American women who have chosen for themselves a new life, leaving the church in search of more meaning in their lives. And yes, it can be called witchcraft. At a recent convention in Baltimore, more than 200 witches gathered, a sisterhood, but their spells are for good, not for evil.
Hey, this is Valerie Love. How are you? I wanted to share with you a little bit today about my journey as a Christian witch and how I got here and how I came to that and what's really going on. And one of the most important things that we can do in life, one of the most important things that you can do in life is stand up and be all of who you are, regardless of what people say, regardless of religion, regardless of your teachers, regardless of your parents, regardless of your clan, the people that you grew up with, regardless of all of that, one day you've got to know within yourself, you've got to stand up and within yourself be all of who you are created to be. One of the spirit guides that I talked to on the other side, his name is Arcturus. And Arcturus says this, that before you came here into this time-space third dimensional continuum, this time-space reality as we call it, this linear kind of life in the third dimension, before you came here, you, of course, were in spirit, without form. And you chose to pour yourself, to somewhat constrict yourself, dense, and take on levels of density. You came through levels of density. And you became a form being. Yes? Now, that didn't cause your spirit self to go away. Your spirit self is simply now in form as a human being, as we call it. Okay? So before you did that, before you made that step, you created a divine destiny plan. When you were on the other side, before you were born onto this earth school, you created a divine destiny plan. You created this divine destiny plan with a team of guides and spirit helpers and people on the other side, beings, not people, beings on the other side.
And strike, and angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa. From South America. Angelic forces. Angelic reinforcement. Angelic reinforcement. Angelic reinforcement. Pika hata anda ata. Ora bata rata anda eke manda rasata. For I hear the sound of victory. 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 I hear the sound of victory.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us, because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
Today I'm going to talk about what a Christian witch is. It's a person that chooses to use witchcraft to worship God. I know it says in the Bible that witchcraft is bad. Well, when they were translating the Bible, there was a lot of words that we didn't have that they had, and so they had a tendency to lump everything together. When it came to witchcraft, it just meant any type of magic whatsoever. The witchcraft in the Bible was often spirit work, divination, necromancy, things of that nature, or it meant someone who poisoned or assassinated people. When that came in and they decided to translate it into English, they had a tendency to just lump everything together and put it under witchcraft. So it's obvious that witchcraft today is something completely different. And it doesn't even have to have any of those things. And so if it doesn't have any of those things, then you should technically be able to do it within your religious rules, right? Well, a lot of people have a problem with that because they feel that they don't know.
I'm not just Maga. I'm dark, Gothic Maga. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. What a great group of people.
We're going to take back our country, and we're going to make Israel great again, and we're going to make Israel great again,
and we're going to make Israel great again.
We're going to make America great again. We're going to make them both great again, greater than ever before.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Want to apologize for being late. Had some technical issues. Trying to upload and gather my clips, but want to apologize to you guys for being late and not actually pre-scheduling this, so that way those that are going to watch this in the replay get opportunity to see this live. So we have a lot to cover. And as you can see on your screen, and if you see me looking away from the main camera, is because I have a couple of monitors here. So my presentation is like over to the side here. So, but nevertheless, our thought for today, or should I say our topic for tonight, is Trump's wait a minute. I should have worded it a little different, but really it's MAGA, true meaning exposed. But it should have been on the PowerPoint. Looks like I worded it a little wrong here. Messed it up here, but it should be Trump's Church of MAGA, or of Dark MAGA. So I messed it up. Forgive me. So it should say Trump's Church of Dark MAGA. And don't have time to clear it up. Actually, you know what? Just a pet peeve of mine. Let me do it right now before I forget. Let me do it right now. But we have some stuff, quite a few things we're going to reveal here. It's going to be pretty simple, but at the same time, we got a lot that I want to reveal to you guys. So let me go ahead and fix this real quick, because if I don't, this is going to, I know it's going to come back and bite me. Let me see here. Let me fix it real quick. All right, where is it? All right, let me just open this up real quick. Won't even take, but maybe a minute. All right, let me see here. All right, so I don't have a QA team, so doing all of this myself. So the graphics, proofing, and all that, I'm doing it myself. So bear with me. All right, let me take this out. Take that. All right. Now let me save it, and this should update the way I want. Let me move this over a little. All right. Now let me do it over here. All right, and this should do it. All right. All righty, where is it? There we go. All right, that's better. If not, it will just kind of prick at me for not correcting this. So my apologies. So on your screen, you see Trump's Church of Dark MAGA. Now the topic or the title for this video, you see Maga, true meaning exposed. And what I'm going to reveal to you, a lot of this information I've already had, and some of this I taught in the past when it comes to witches, Christian witches to be specific, more particular. So, but what prompted me to do this lesson, put this lesson together, is because of many of our brothers and sisters. Some of you guys are aware or familiar with that pastor, what's his name, Donnie Swaggart, the son or grandson of the late Jimmy Swaggart. Racist comments going at the black church per se. And, it really didn't sit well with me, because out of all the communities, you have the Spanish community, you have the Asian community, you have other communities, but he chose to go at the Negro. He chose to go at the Negro. And what disappointed me the most wasn't the fact that he went at us. Some of our own brothers and sisters who were posted in the comments taking up for that guy for the sake of religion. Now, don't get me wrong. We know Christianity, when you do the detailed, in-depth discoveries of Christianity as well as Catholicism, we understand what those religious systems have done to our people. But it's no excuse for any of those that say that they are part of our community. What I mean by that is it's not a religious thing, but we are supposed to be part of the same community. We all have, are descendants of prisoners of war that is referred to as slaves. So it should never be that you default because of religion to take up for the very person that's insulting your people. And that tells me that many were not raised with some key principles like I was raised with, old school, that, when you were in the house, yeah, me and my brothers and sisters, yeah, we had our squabbles. But once you go outside that house, we're family. We are family. Doesn't matter, what we believe. But the one key thing is that we do not allow others to come and attack family. But we've been, really given this mindset that no matter what we do, what happens to our community, especially if it's someone from another community, another ethnic group, we tend to side with them first. Well, the pastor was right. So no, he was wrong. Because again, he chose to come at our community. He chose to go at pastors and attack them based off of this guy that you see on the screen. So I had some comments that was posted, and I removed some of the comments because they were going in, the Kamala Harris being a witch and all this other stuff. And I want to make this clear, family. This is not me pushing for one candidate or another. It's not about that. But what really pricks me, what I've noticed is you'll have many within our community. I'll start with our community. They'll say they are not voting. They don't care for one side or the other. They both are two wings on the same bird. But then they just primarily go in on Kamala Harris. They don't, and then they start deceptively start promoting Trump. And if I had time, I would have put a clip inside here of a guy who supposedly be so disappointed in Kamala Harris because a heckler at one of her, one of her rallies had shouted out, Jesus is Lord, and whatever the case may be. I didn't catch exactly what was said. So Kamala Harris just said, we don't do that over here, referring to, comparing to the Trump rallies. This is a brother man. So he said he was disappointed because she said she interrupted someone saying Jesus is Lord, didn't play the full clip, and then proceeded to show all kinds of clips of Donald Trump supposedly believing in Christ. And began to really, I'm not going to get into all of that. So with me, I want to do this lesson here just to bring balance. Since there's going to be, it's easy to find videos that are going in on Kamala Harris. But I want to, since, many want to call her witch, that's fine. You have every right to, especially when you're dealing with politics and how manipulative politicians are. I get it. But we're not going to let him off the hook. So tonight, I'm going to go in on Donald Trump. I'm going to go in on his theme that have so many of our brothers and sisters operating in witchcraft, that's caught up in charms, caught up in enchantments. So again, this is not promoting either one of the candidates. But again, I decided to do this lesson for many of our brothers and sisters that are pushing the narrative that Trump has the best interest of our people. This racist, this womanizer, this criminal. Many of our brothers and sisters are incarcerated because of he and the agendas of others on both sides of the political spectrum, Democrats and Republicans, but want to push this deceptive nonsense that this guy has the best interest of our community. The same guy that did opt ads inside the New York Post to have 5, which was really 6. Y'all know the Central Park 5, those innocent boys who were convicted as criminals, as adults. He was pushing for the death penalty for them. And even when he found out it was a lie, he did not apologize. He did not repent. The same one that referred to Haiti, the same one that referred to Africa as a blank hole, if you know what I mean. Come on, family. And if you want to be real, look it up. He supports the LGBTQ communities on both sides of the house. Look it up. All of them support it. Only difference between the two that you hear for the most part is when we start dealing with abortion. Democrats, all about abortion. Republicans, they're not about abortion. But once you are born, then they want to kill us. So both of them don't care about our community whatsoever. So one side, pro-life, other side, abortion. But both of them, one, like I said, one want to keep us from being murdered inside the womb, while the other don't care. Once we are born, then we're on our own. We'll get killed. We'll get murdered in the streets outside of the womb. So again, both sides. So I'm going to prove to you, some of you guys that may be on this trip of, that's old school, right? On this trip, you know what I remember, that ain't tripping, but on this trip or on this tip to thinking that it's just one-sided, that it's all about the Democrats. The Democrats did this to our people. The Democrats did that to our people. Granted, yes, the South were Democrats. But guess what? The Republicans had their hand in slavery too. Many of them have long money from slavery. Lynching didn't just occur in the South. Lynching, look it up. You'll see New York. You'll see Chicago. You'll see Delaware. You could go right down to, you could go even further up, go all the way up to like the New England territory. I got photos of it. I posted photos of it. So both sides can care less about our community. But anyway, let me go ahead and get into it, family. I know I said I was going to get into it, but let's go ahead and get into it. Let me stretch the screen out for you guys. All right. Let me stretch this out. Really appreciate you guys. So again, Trump's Church of Dark Maga. Trump's Church of Dark Maga. Now, let me play this clip again. It's a short clip, so that way we can use this to kind of segue into the lesson. It's only 25 seconds. Here we go.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark, Gothic MAGA. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. What a great group of people.
He said that he's not just MAGA, that he is dark MAGA. Now, we know we've been sold a hill of beans of MAGAs, make America great again. But we know that when you start really dealing with words, there's origins to these words. Words have meaning. And as we go through this topic tonight, you're going to start, everything is going to start falling in alignment. It's going to start synchronizing when you start thinking about, wait a minute, the behaviors that you've witnessed from Maga. Even this guy, what he said in front of the people when he said that he's not just Maga, he is dark Gothic Maga. See, being a geek, because I am a geek, and this guy's a geek, but I can tell you exactly what he means by that. And to the average Joe Blow that really don't understand being what it means to be a geek, which, that'll go over your head. If you understand comic books and all those different things, look, I was a comic book junkie. Used to draw out of them all the time. Stay on top of the Marvel movies. I'm a junkie. I am a straight geek. So I understand exactly what he was saying. And I want to prove it to you. So as you see on your screen, it says here, as you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark Gothic MAGA. That's his own words. So no one can say that I am taking his words out of context. All right. So let's go ahead and give clarity here. This is coming from an article here, Fox News, titled Elon Musk comes out in support of Trump and dark Gothic MAGA at Madison Square Garden. And this is just a couple of quotes from the article. Elon Musk unveiled what he called a dark Gothic MAGA look on Sunday while supporting former President Trump. I'm dark Gothic MAGA, Musk told the crowd at Trump's campaign event at Madison Square Garden. The energy in this room is incredible. So let's delve into this. Let's do a deeper discovery, deeper dive into this. So what is the meaning of dark Gothic MAGA? What is the meaning of dark Gothic MAGA? And you see on your screen on this hat, he has "Make America Great Again," and it's written in Gothic fonts. And he's wearing all black. Now, growing up in the New York, New Jersey area, I can tell you some things that I've witnessed being on the subway, being in some of those spaces. When I mean spaces, like parks, and seeing some of these groups get on the train, and I'll just leave it at that. But what is the meaning of dark Gothic MAGA? Let's go to the Etymology dictionary definition of the word dark. Now, keep in mind, family, we understand that in different cultures have languages. And when you have a word in one culture, it can mean one thing, but in another culture, it can mean another thing. So let's see what this word dark means. And we're going to come at it from the origins, as far as the actual language that it comes from. And as we see here on your screen, we see Middle English, dirk. And understand Middle English is one of the branches of German, the Proto-Germanic language, because you have the Germanic Trump, That's the Proto-Indo-European trunk, or should I say tree of languages, right? And you could just simply say the language of Japheth. But then it's broken into 4 major trunks. And one of the major trunks is Germanic. And then the Germanic trunk splits into 2. All right. So English, as you see here, is one of the branches of the language, the Germanic language. That's why you see Proto-Germanic. So we see here Middle English Dirk. And then it says later dark. Old English Dirk. Without, so it tells us this word means without light, lacking light or brightness, especially at night. Obscure, gloomy. But then it says figuratively sad, cheerless. But I want you to highlight this word, these 2 words here: sinister, wicked. And then when we go here to the Proto-Germanic, it said Durkas. In a nutshell, we see that this word also, when it gives the whole High German origins of this word, we see to hide, conceal. So the question that you have to ask, what is Maga hiding? What are they trying to conceal? But the key is sinister. That's the point I really want to hone in on. Sinister, wicked. So when you see this word dark from a European perspective, from the Germanic trunk of languages that goes all the way down to the English language, we see that this word means sinister. Make a note of that. Make a note of that. I'm not, and I understand Yasharallah. I'm not going to give any props to Elon Musk being talented, because again, the scriptures make it clear that Hasatan is going to perform great signs and wonders. So I'm not even going to give any props to anyone. He's deceptive. He's delusional. There's a lot of issues with him. He's a racist. He's demonic. He's a Luciferian. He's a Satanist. We could go right down the list, but it's not just him. So I'm not giving any props to this guy. So, and I'm not saying that you're giving props to him, but I just want to be clear. Let's not give no type of room for these guys. They are wicked. They are wicked. So I understand where you're coming from, but I just want to make sure that we're on the same page with this. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. But nevertheless, all right. So highlight or write down in your notes, sinister, wicked. That's the point that I want to make. Sinister, wicked. All right. All right. All right. I already posted the comments inside the community area. So we already know what it means, but don't get ahead of us. I know I gave you the cheat sheet, you know what I mean? But don't get ahead of us, because when I do lessons like this, some want to just get ahead of the lesson and just let the cat out the bag. But for those that didn't, let me just go ahead and remove that comment here. Don't get ahead of me, guys. If you already know what some of the things I'm going to go into, please don't let the cat out the bag. All right? Because again, what tends to happen when I do lessons like this is if I put information out there early, some will start posting as if they're bringing something new to the discussion. Some will repost what I've already posted. All right. So let's go and get into it. All right. So sinister, wicked. Okay. To hide, conceal. So what is the meaning of Gothic? Let's see what Gothic means. Are they a people? Because, when you study humanities, that's one of the things that I learned in humanities was dealing with designs and, art. So when you deal with Gothic, there is a type of design. But are we referring to, when he say he's Gothic, when he's dark Gothic, is he referring to a style, an artwork, or a people? So we're going to break this down. Are they a people? So let's go to the word Gothic. It says here, of the Goths, the ancient Germanic people. So we see here Gothic, right? Of the Goths, that's what this word means, of the Goths, the ancient Germanic people. So make a note of that. So when he says dark Maga, we're dealing with sinister, we're dealing with wickedness, but then he said Gothic. So we see the ancient Germanic people. Then as we go down here from the noun, it says, as a noun, the language of the Goths. But we know he's not referring to a language. Then when we go down here, it says originally applied and scorned by Italian architects of the Renaissance. So this is now you get into artwork. But we know that he's not dealing with artwork. We know he's not dealing with art. We know that he's dealing with a people. He's dealing with a people. So Gothic are Germanic people. So DNA, and I want to make sure we bring all of this in. DNA ties Ashkenazi Jews to a group of just 330 people from the Middle Ages. Now, there's a reason why I'm showing this article. Not really going too deep into the Ashkenazi Jewish teachings like I would normally do, but I want to pull some of this in for a reason. It says here, so say a new study in the journal Nature Communication, an international team of scientists sequenced the complete genomes of 128 healthy Ashkenazi Jews and compared each of those sequences with the others, as well as with the DNA of 26 Flemish people from Belgium. But here's the kicker. Their analysis allowed them to trace the generic roots of this population to a founding group in the Middle Ages. Ashkenaz in Hebrew refers to Germany. Let me say that again. Ashkenaz in Hebrew refers to Germany. So when we look at that word Gothic, it deals with what? A Germanic people. So when you see Germany, think of the word Ashkenaz. Let me say that again. When you think about the word Germany, think about Ashkenaz. Matter of fact, when you think about even this definition of Goth, and when we deal with Germany, deal with Ashkenaz. You guys know that I play this person's comments on a regular basis. This guy right here.
And Michael Brown, I am Caucasian, even though my last name is Brown. Michael Brown, You say, well, where did the name Ashkenazi came from? So, a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin.
Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin.
Michael Brown, I am Caucasian.
Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false, zero truth to it. Just study the history.
All right, so he confirmed that the word Germany is Ashkenaz. Even though he admitted also of being a descendant of name stealers. But we see the point that I want to make here, without getting sidetracked, that Ashkenaz in Hebrew, as you see here, refers to Germany. Ashkenazi Jews are those who originated in Eastern Europe. Let me say that again. Ashkenaz in Hebrew refers to Germany, and Ashkenazi Jews are those who originated in Europe. That's the point I want to make. So when we see Gothic and it connects us to the Goths, it tells us these are Germanic people. And in other words, Ashkenazi people, people who are descendants of Ashkenaz. So I want to make sure you guys understand. So is Elon Musk promoting a culture or simply a style of art? What do you guys think? Is he's promoting, when he says that he is Maga, Gothic, or dark Gothic, Maga, is he promoting a culture or is he simply promoting a style of art? If you believe that he's promoting the culture, the people, the lifestyle, the behaviors, type 1. If you believe that he's just simply promoting a style of art, type 2. If you believe that he's promoting a culture, type 1. If you believe that he's just simply promoting art, type 2. And we'll just read some of them as we, and I use this to give some of you guys shout outs as well. So we see here, let me see if I can catch up with it. We see the light within culture, into focus culture. Mizzy, excuse me if I mispronounce your name, culture. Yara Shalom, Jerusalem, culture. Pure repentance, culture. Let's see here. Just giving some shout outs here. My name is name. All right. Culture. Jerry Carroll, culture. Emma Horton, culture. Jordan, culture. Miss Barbara Bithia, culture. So far, everyone is saying culture. We got the elder in the building. Give shout outs to elder in the building here. Beach Brothers Production, culture. Tanya Horton, culture. So far, it looks like it's unanimous. Cedric Lewis, culture. Yasharala, culture. Bon Malak, right? Son, all right. King, all right. Silent Woman, culture. Let's get a few more shout outs here. Connie Ya, culture. Methuselah, culture. Deli Bread, culture. So far, looks like it's unanimous here. Andrea Gilbert, culture. Goy Goddess, culture. Let's see here. All right. Looking here. All right. Seeing some other ones here. All right. I'll give a couple of more. David Israel, culture. The Hood Assassin, culture. All right. One last one. We'll do one more. Arthur, shout outs to Arthur Candace Phillips Anderson. Shout outs to you. Appreciate the love and support. Culture all day long. So we all agree that what we are dealing with, what he's dealing with, is culture. He's dealing with a particular culture of a particular group of people. He's not dealing with style of artwork. He's not dealing with artwork. He's not dealing with fashion. He's dealing with culture. So dark means, remember, when we did the etymology dictionary definition of this word, it tells us that dark means, in the Proto-Germanic language, it means without light, and it means sinister, wicked. And Gothic is an ancient Germanic people, Ashkenaz, descendants of Ashkenaz. So think about this, family. So he says that he's dark Gothic. In other words, he's sinister. He's wicked, of an ancient Germanic people. So what Elon Musk is revealing to the world is his title as a villain, or in other words, an adversary. See, family, I know some of you guys may think that I'm just going a little geeked out here, but when you listen to what he said, when you listen to exactly his words, when he says that he is a dark, Gothic, Maga, he's picturing himself as not a, well, depending on what side of the fence you're on, a superhero to some, but a supervillain to others. Let me say that again. He is basically, in a nutshell, when he says that he is Maga Gothic, or dark Gothic Maga, see, he's a geek. So he's telling you guys that that is his title, that is his villain or title of as an adversary, that he is wicked, that he's sinister. Let me play it one more time. And I know some of this probably went over some of you guys that are not geeks, but some of you guys that are geeks in the building, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Because when I saw this, I was like, man, he's in this geek mode, but he's revealing his title, whether he think of himself as being a superhero, or if he think of himself as being an adversary or villain. One way or the other, he think that he has superpowers. And his superpowers, where he is right now, according to him, would be his money, his technology, because as of now, he is the richest man in the world. He's worth over $200 billion. But let's listen to his video real quick again. And pay attention, family. Those that are geeks in the building, if you agree with what I'm saying, type 1. If you disagree, type 2. I understand. But if you're geeks in the building, you guys going to recognize by his demeanor that this guy, I could tell that he was a comic book a comic book fiend, because I'm not going to say people that read comic books are nutcases, but he was a comic book fiend. Because I was strung out on comic books. I used to draw from them all the time. So I'm going to play the clip here. And if you agree to what I'm saying, that in his mind, he's telling the world his name, his villain name or adversary name, or whether he want to deem himself a hero, whatever the case may be, but he's revealing to the world his title as having superpowers. And this is his name. This is his name as being, whether he want to deem himself a superhero or a supervillain, but he's revealing his name. Here it is.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark, Gothic MAGA. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. What a great group of people.
Now, do you understand now when you look at his demeanor, look at how he pointed to his hat. He's introducing to the world that this is his title. He's proud of it. Look at his facial expressions. I'll play it one more time. He's proud of it. This is his title. It makes me think about that movie Glass, or Mr. Glass. When you think about Mr. Glass, think about how he was approaching people as comic books, whether you are a hero or a villain. I'm going to play it one more time, and pay attention, family. For those geeks that are in here, you will see he has on his superhero clothing in his mind, and he's given his title to the world. Here we go one more time.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark, Gothic MAGA. Well, the energy in this room is incredible. What a great group of people.
I'm waiting for him to go. What's that movie with what's the movie? The Boys, Highlander. I'm waiting for him to go Highlander and just do a one of those shoot one of the beams out of his eyes and just zap a number of people. Because I felt like he was Homelander. I said Highlander. I'm thinking of the Highlander movie, but like Homelander, he gives that Homelander feel like he's ready to just, if someone don't give him any praise or whatever, he just give him that laser out of his eyes. Shout outs to my boy Moxie in the building. Let me flash him up here. Shout outs to Moxie in the building. This is my brother right here doing some great things. And family, if you're not subscribed to his channel, subscribe to Moxie Approved. This is my buddy right here. I see him. He's cracking up here. but yeah, he knows what I'm talking about, because Moxie he's a comedian, but he's also a geek like I am. And I know he recognizes exactly what I'm bringing to you guys. So this is far as when we deal with Elon Musk, he is announcing to the public his title, whether you want to look at him as a villain or look at him as a hero. But this is almost like his Highlander moment. He felt very proud. That's why look at how he pointed to the hat. He felt very proud. But again, shout outs to my boy Moxie. Again, family, if you're not subscribed to his channel, subscribe to his channel. And did I get, matter of fact, I did give you a wrench. So feel free, Moxie, to drop your link inside the comment section. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Ambush Predator. Really appreciate the love and support. Hello, love and respect to all from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Love the channel. Really appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you. All right. So what Elon Musk is revealing to the world is his title as a villain or an adversary. But, from a comic books perspective, when you deal with a villain, they are an adversary of what is deemed to be the superheroes. All right. And he wants to be the main person, right? He want to be the main character in this particular comic book. He want to have his own comic book called Dark Gothic Maga. All right. So let's go ahead and continue here. So what if I told you that Maga or Magus and Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, they have something in common? What if I told you this? Now, some of you guys saw my post inside the community channel, and I'm sure it started circulating. It's on Facebook as well. And I've actually had people sending me my own screenshots and everything as if it was something new and they were sharing it with me. So that's how it's been circulating. But what if I told you that there's a connection here? Well, let's prove it. Let's start with this word witch, because this word witch, the way that we've been programmed, we are clueless when it comes to identifying witches. See, when we think of witch, right, we think of like what we see in the cartoons, right? We see what we see in the movies. We think of like whether it's going to be somebody, a woman, green, big nose with a bump, hat, long, thin fingers with long fingernails, standing over a pot, stirring the witch's brew with the crystal ball, the black cat. That's what many think of when they think about witches. Or others may think about, when they think about a witch, what comes to mind, they may think of someone with an accent, like a Caribbean accent, locks, Cleo. But let me tell you that a witch can look just like a normal person, like anyone else. In many cases, you wouldn't even know that someone is a witch sitting right next to you. You could be working with a witch. But if we understand it from a biblical perspective, it's a complete different understanding of what a witch is. A witch is someone that bend, twists the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. But let's go ahead and delve into it. I have it up here. What is a witch? Let's deal with the etymological dictionary definition of a witch. It says a female magician, sorceress, a woman supposed to have dealings with the devil or evil spirits. But we see this word wiki in an Old English Wicca. But look at what we see here: sorcerer, wizard, man. So guess what, men? Witches are not just females. A witch is also a man. Witch can be a man. Witch can also be a woman. This is why you see sorcerer, wizard, man who practices witchcraft or magic, to practice witchcraft. We see divination, necromancer. In other words, one who wakes the dead. So what is a witch according to the scriptures? Let's break this down real quick. What is a witch? Did I put it in here? Actually, I didn't put it in here. What I'll do is before we wrap up, I'll put the definitions, the Hebrew definitions of a witch in here. Matter of fact, let me see if I can do it real quick since we're right here. I thought I had it in here, and I'm going to give you some secular sources as well so we can bring it all together. All right, but let's see here. Bear with me 1 second. Let me see if I could pull this up here. All right. All right, let's see which. All right, we got the. I thought I had it here. If not, I'll pull it out. All right, let me create a special slide here so that way I don't have to do all this digging. I'm just going to put a special slide real quick. Won't take me no time to do this. Let me put the definition of a witch from a Hebraic school of thought. Let me add it here since I mentioned it. All right, won't take no time, so let's do it real quick. All right. This is a witch according to scripture, so let's put it in here. All right. Let's see here. Almost done here, family. Give me another minute or so. All right. All right, here we go. Almost done. All right, let me just add the background to this particular presentation. Then we're good. Then I'll show you the definition of it. You know me, guys. I got to make sure my presentations are on point. All right, so here it is. Let me bring it back up. All right, let me drop this. All right, so here's the Hebrew definition. I thought I had it here. Where did I put it at? All right, there it is. I put it this slide before. There it is. So what is a witch according to the Bible? Here it is. It says to whisper a spell, an example, to enchant or practice magic. We see here sorcerer. We see sorcerer, sorceress. So we see this is a witch can be a man, sorcerer, or a woman, sorceress. So it could be a man or a woman. All right. Let me see if we have any additional in-depth definitions here, but we see here just what I pointed out. Sorcerer, we see sorcery, witchcraft. All right. And we see incantation. So we're dealing with chants. So again, what is a witch? So let me give you a secular source here. All right. Now I want to use this as a disclaimer because I know how many of our brothers and sisters, many are. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to show certain sources, because I know what many of our people would do. We'll read this stuff and don't even read the scriptures. We'll read, for example, what many would say is lost books, but haven't even read the first 5 books. So don't go out here trying to get these books if your spirit is not grounded, because if you're not careful, this stuff can mess you up. Now, I've given this disclaimer a number of times and I've seen it mess people up. All right. So this book right here is the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. Right. I was put on to this book when I was in school. All right. So the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets by Barbara G. Walker. So this is a witch, and you're going to recognize, some of you guys are going to recognize some of these names here. So look at the different titles of a witch. So we see here, there were many other words for witches, such as incantatrix, lamia, saga, maga. Do y'all see maga? Maga, let me zoom it in. Maga. So Maga is a witch. Let me say it again. Incantatrix, lamia, saga, maga, malefica, sortilego, strix, benefica. And it goes on to say, and these are some other ones, in Italy, which was a strega or genera, an old title of a priestess of Jana, in other words, Juno, one of the triple witches, which is also referred to as the triple goddess. But we see in English, writers call witches both hags and fairies. So hags was also referred to as crone. When you see the triple witches, you'll see the maiden, right, which is the young girl. In the middle, you'll see the damsel. No, you see the maiden or the damsel. In the middle, you'll see the mother. And then the third, which is the elder, she is known as a hag or crone. That is the triple witches or the triple goddesses. Okay, so you'll see here hags, fairies. But peep this out. We see strict rider, fascinatrix. In other words, one with the evil eye. Herburia, one who gathers herbs. Strix, the screeching owl. This is also Lilith, right? Pixidria, keeper of an ointment box. Femina saga, wise woman. Lamia, night monster. But here's the kicker. Incantator, right? Worker of charms. And then we see magas. See, maga and magas are synonymous. Both of them are what? Witches. So maga is interchangeable with a witch or warlock. Maga and magas is a worker of charms. All right, we're slow walking this. Which leads me to this source here, churchofsatan.com. Of course, this is the hierarchy. And notice what you see here. You see 5 degrees. 5 degrees. So you have the initial one, which it says registered member, which is no degree. But you see 5 degrees here. All right. So we see the initial degree is active member, which Satanists, right? Their title is Satanist, which is the first degree. Then we see witch, warlock, which is the second degree. Then we priestess, priest, the third degree. Magister, fourth degree. Maga, magus, fifth degree. So I want to make sure you guys understand this. This is dealing with witchcraft. Have you guys stopped to think how and why he has such, when I say he, Donald Trump has such a with the people, they seem like they're so captivated over him that he can say whatever things that, let's just say, if someone did some of the things that he admit to doing to your daughter, your sister, your mother, you will be ready to unalive that person. But he's on record bragging about how he touched a woman, grabbed women by their private parts. Come on, family. He can say whatever he want to say and people still follow him. But we're going to delve into it a little more. So what is the role of Maga in the Church of Satan? What is the role? Let's break this down. So in the Church of Satan, the role of Maga or Magus represents mastery over satanic philosophy and rituals. Now, this is another source, and I'm going to use to define these two words. This is coming from the Dictionary of Satanism. Now, again, family, I want to give the disclaimer. Don't go out here purchasing these books and you don't have a prayer life. You don't read your word. You're not strong in this faith. Get your foundation up under you. Like when I used to box, right? When I learned how to box, they always told us, make sure you get your legs up under you. Like, let's just say if you get dazed, you know what I mean? The whole reason for, them giving you that count, right? That standing 8 is to allow you to get your legs up under you. Or if you get knocked down, they tell you to wait. Don't try to get up so quick. Gather yourself, get your legs up under you, then get up. Don't go into this stuff, family. Don't go trying to read this stuff if you don't have a solid foundation. I want to reiterate that point, especially if you're babes. So the Dictionary of Satanism, let's see what it says. It says Maga, a generic name for witch. The term usually denotes a pleasure-seeking witch. Look at the pleasure-seeking, the characteristics, the attributes of Donald Trump, right? But we're not going to stop there. Let's look at Magus. Look at what it says. One of the 10 grades corresponding to the Sephiroth. Oh my goodness, family. Y'all better grab hold of this. Here's the kick. It says, in Aleister Crowley's Cabalistic teaching. Now, family, you know that I've been teaching this for quite some time. Eliphas Levi, right? Let me say that again. Eliphas Levi. I don't have his books because I'm redoing my office here. Actually, I do have one of his books here because I'm redoing my office here. But let me put it on the screen here. Eliphas Levi. Let me put his book on the screen real quick. One of the books I have. All right. Eliphas Levi. That is Eliphas Levi, family. Eliphas Levi is the one who taught, what's his name? Albert Pike, who came up with wrote over 90% of the ritual book for Freemasons. All right. So we see that it's referring to also the Kabbalah. And the dead giveaway here is where it says one of the 10 grades corresponding to this Sephira. Now, let me see if I could pull up this video here. Let me see if I can upload this real quick. All right. If I can, then I'll do so. But I think I also put a presentation here, a quick slide to kind of break down the 10 Sephira because we're actually dealing with the Kabbalah. We're dealing with Jewish mysticism. Let me see if I can pull it up here. All right. If not, I'll go through my next slide. But family, this is the Kabbalah. So you have Satanists. You see Aleister, it says here, in Aleister Crowley's Cabalistic system. So Aleister Crowley studied the Kabbalah, right? So let me see if I can pull this in real quick. Let me see. I may be able to do this real quick because I want you guys to understand the 10 Sephira. let me see here. All right, I'm going to upload this video. It's going to take a second, so that way you guys can see the correlation of the Church of Satan. And we see within the Church of Satan, we identified also Aleister Crowley connected to this word Magas. And when you look at Eliphas Levi, Aleister Crowley is viewed as being the reincarnation of Eliphas Levi, because Eliphas Levi was the one that created the Baphomet, which is an hermaphrodite. Eliphas Levi created that, and he was big on the Kabbalah. Let me show the book again. That's why you see Kabbalah here. Let me bring it over. Eliphas Levi and the Kabbalah. And look at that hexagram right here that you see right up wrong side. Look at that hexagram right here. You see the hexagram? All right. So he was heavily into the Kabbalah. He was out there, and Albert Pike was his understudy. All right. So while this video is uploading, because I didn't want to get ahead of myself, I want to at least play this video so that way you guys can get an understanding. Here it is. So I'm going to play this video and pay attention to this video, and then we'll continue. Here we go.
The 10 Sefirot. One popular interpretation shows these characteristics as a map of God's body. Kabbalists believe that if they can understand God's anatomy, they can learn how his powers work. These ancient drawings reveal that God's body is similar to humans. The top symbolizes God's head, which is the source of will, wisdom, and understanding. Below that are symmetrically arranged organs and limbs, representing love, power, beauty, eternity, and splendor. The most unusual part of the diagram contains sensual imagery. The ninth part of God, called the foundation, is the phallus, or procreative life force of the universe. But according to the Sefirot, God also has female components. The final element, often called Shekinah, was depicted as the feminine half of God.
All right, so you saw inside that video, and I'm gonna play another video here, but you saw in that video, it's Jewish mysticism. So when you see here, one of the 10 grades, this is dealing with the 10 Sephira. So 10 grades, 10 Sephira, which is supposed to be, according to the Cabalistic belief system, which is really like a 12th century writings. Most of the stuff is 12th century. Okay. So the 10 Sephira represents their God, their deity, which is called the Ein Sof. Now, some of you guys may remember when I played a rabbi, a professor breaking down Genesis chapter 1, which he was describing that infinity, which is in their Kabbalistic teachings, infinity is the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof means infinity. They teach that the Ein Sof created our Alahayim. That's what they teach, family. So it's a lot to unpack. I understand. I know and understand that this is a lot to unpack. So let me give you one more video real quick and we'll continue.
Now, what Rand Paul should have known is that the Wailing Wall is the seat of a satanic ritual outlined by the 13th century Jewish occult system known as the Kabbalah, as expounded in the Zohar and expanded upon by the 18th century Hasidic movement. You see, this so-called divine presence at the Wailing Wall is actually the Kabbalistic feminine emanation of their false god, the Shekinah. Watch closely. how the rabbis thrust their pelvises and penises back and forth in a prescribed prayer movement called davening, in which the Jew copulates with the Shekinah in order to give birth to an erotic union with the Ein Sof, the Cabalistic masculine emanation of their false god. Now watch this young Jewish boy who, instinctively knowing that davening is a lewd and embarrassing act, just can't bring himself to perform the thrusting of his pelvis.
All right. So, family, that's just a little information, hearing it from their own mouth, what the Shekinah is, or they call it Shekinah, that it's perverted, right? But let me take it a step further here. So, one of the 10 grades corresponding to the Sephira in Aleister Crowley's Cabalistic system. So, this is what that video was referring to that I played, that video clip, right? You know, that's, let me go ahead and put this here. This is the 10 Sephira, but this is what is called the, now we're down at the torso of that 10 Sephira, right? Now, this portion of the 10 Sephira, these are the male the reproductive organs, all right? These are the reproductive organs, right? And we're going to show that they are, they refer to their Ein Sof as being an hermaphrodite. So remember in the video I shared with you guys, it said this portion of it, this male reproductive organ, which is called the phallus, is referred to as foundation. All right. And then you have the feminine side of it, which is the Shekinah. So that's exactly what it's saying. These two are saying that this overall diagram is supposed to be their deity, and their deity have both male and female reproductive organs, meaning that their deity is an hermaphrodite. All right. So like Freemasons, or Freemasonry, the Church of Satan promotes Jewish mysticism. So this is coming from Freemasonry. This is coming from Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite. So I just going to give you a little bit of this. Not going to give you too much, but just to show you how even within the Kabbalah, well, not the Kabbalah, but the Freemasonry is going to bring you right to the Kabbalah. All right. So this is coming from Morals and Dogma of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rites of Prepared for Supreme Council of the 33rd degree. This is on page 13 and 14. But notice what it says here. The sun and moon, says the learned brother Delany, represents the two grand principles of all generations, the active and passive, the male and female. The sun represents the actual lighting. He pours upon the moon his fundating rays. Both shed their light upon their offspring, the blazing star, or Horus, and the three form the great equilateral triangle, in other words, a trinity, in the center of which the omific letter of the Kabbalah, by which creation is said to have been effected. So we see the Kabbalah. They're dealing with the Kabbalah here. Let's go to the next page, on page 741. Masonry is a search after light. That search leads us directly back, as you see, to the Kabbalah. So you see they're constantly pushing the Kabbalah. You'll see in the Moral Dogma, you see the Kabbalah. Here it is again. This is on page 40. And that's more references I could pull out of it, but I'm just showing you a little bit of it. But it says, in the first three Persian Amshapans, Lord of Light, Fire, and Splendor, we recognize the Aor, Zohar, right? That's dealing with the Kabbalah, Zeo, light, splendor, and brightness of the Kabbalah. The first of these is termed Aor Mupala, wonderful or hidden light, unveiled, undisplayed, which is Kether, the first emanation, or Sephira, Wait a minute. You see what we just pointed out? Now let's go back over to this dictionary here. Let's go back here to Magnus. It says one of the 10 grades corresponding to the Cyphera in Aleister Crowley's capitalistic system. So we see the Cyphera. It says one of the 10. So it mentions the 10 Cyphera. And we see that this is pointing to the Kabbalah. So if we go back here to where we left off, this is what it's referring to. The first emanation or cipher. All right. So another point I want to make here is, right, the Church of Satan does not necessarily worship deities in the traditional sense, but encourages self-deification. Have you noticed how Donald Trump is all about what? Himself. This is part of the Church of Satan. Encourages self-deification. Remember, Trump wanted to have do something that was never done before. He wanted to do like how Putin and many of those countries overseas, like North Korea, he wanted to have the army march in front of the White House and salute him. Look it up. He wanted the military, and they had to tell him that is literally impossible to do because of those the heavy weapons or those heavy vehicles would literally shred up the entire city. He wanted to have United States have their military come before him, just like how you would see over in North Korea. It's all about him. It's all about him. And I could give so many different examples of it. And family, if you see anyone trolling, kick them out. Kick them out. Kick them out. All right? Just kick them out. Don't even give them any wiggle. Just kick them out. All right? So again, the Church of Satan does not necessarily worship deities in the traditional sense, but encourages self-edification. And this is why I put 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 4. When it talks about the son of perdition, going to put his images of himself inside the places of worship, so that way he could be worshiped as being Yah. He could be worshiped as being a deity or the deity. So what is the true meaning of church? Because this all coincides with where I'm going at with this. It's not a lengthy lesson, but I want to make sure you guys understand what the word church means, because we, growing up in Christianity, are made to believe that that word church has been monopolized, that is a word that was connected to Christianity. That's not the case, family. Let me prove it here. Let's define the word church real quick. So does Christianity have a monopoly on the word? No. Christ never said he was going to build a church. See, church is one of those words that have been used as a charm by the Roman Catholic Christian Church to further pull the minds, the thoughts away from the ancient Israelites over to a group of people that hijacked a culture that was never theirs. So they use that word church. They use that word church. So does Christianity have a monopoly on this word? Let's go to the etymology dictionary of the word circle, and we're going to tie this all into church. Here we go. Church, it says circle. Figure of a circle, small ring, hoop, circular orbit, right? And it tells us what? To see circuit. So we see circle, it points to a small ring, hoop, and we also see here ring, right? Circular orbit. But then it tells us to go look at circus. So let's go to circus. It says ring, circular line, but then it says from or cognate with Greek kirkos, a circle, a ring, and it has here Proto-Indo-European kikro, however you pronounce it. But it says here, in reference to modern large arenas, performances from 1791. And it goes on to say traveling show, a circus. So remember, a circus is a ring, circle, line, reference to large arenas for performances, hence a traveling show. So let's go to the etymology dictionary definition of the word church. Look at what it says here, church. And we see some of the similar words that ties into circle, like this right here, Karika. But anyway, look at what it says. Church, public place of worship, Proto-Germanic, Old Norse. These are just giving you some of the different languages within that. Remember that trunk of that, the German trunk of languages. These are all Germanic languages. Proto-Germanic, Old Saxon, Old Norse, that's still Germanic languages. Frisian, Germanic languages. Dutch, Germanic languages. All right, but let's go here. It says of the Lord, right? Look at what it says here. Of the Lord was used of houses of Christian worship since the 3rd century. Look at this, family. Since the 3rd century, between the 3rd and 4th century. So Christ never said anything about a church. Come on, family. Let me say this. Hebrew, I see a comment here. Church appeared before AD 1300. Let me make this clear. Church is not a transliteration. A proper transliteration. That's what I'm explaining right now. So please pay attention to the lesson. The word church was not even used by the Greeks at that time. It was not used by the Hebrews at that time. As you see on your screen, look at what it says. It says on the screen, Christian worship since the century, the 300 or the 3rd century. So this is when that word began to be used with the Catholic Christian groups. That word, the Messiah never said he was building a church. The Messiah never said he was building a church. That wasn't a word that was even in their vernacular. So that's why you see, this is the 3rd century right here. It says of the Lord was used of houses of Christian worship since century 300. So that word church is not, that's not the Most High. That's why you have the Church of Satan. Because if the church was synonymous to the Israelites, why do we see the Satanists using it? Why do we see Hinduism? Because you have Church of Hindus. You have so many different churches. Yeah, atheists have a church. But here's the true origin of the word church. Let me give it to you right here. The dictionary of phrase and fable. An example, Cobham Brewer, 1894. Let's see the origin of this word church, so that way we can knock down a lot of these spells, these charms that we've been subjected to. Let me say that again. Timepiece. I'm going to say it again. Pay attention to the lesson. That word church is just because you see it in the transliterated Bible that you have. That's why it's called a version or a translation, but it's not a translation. It's actually a transliteration. So family, please don't post any scriptures about you reading an English word that says church, because that word church is placed there based upon the ones who's actually doing the translation. So these words like church, English word, as I just pointed out, that's at the discretion of the one that's doing the translation. So please don't post any scriptures on that, because the only thing that's going to do is further confusion. So let's keep it simple. But this is the source. Let me show you where the origins of that word church come from. And I gave you the source here, and I'll post it inside the comment section. The etymology of this word is generally assumed to be from the Greek, kurio oikos, in other words, house of God. But this is most improbable, as the word existed in all of the Celtic dialects long before the introduction of Greek. No doubt the word means circle. Now, peep this portion out of it out. The places of worship among the Germans, that's why you see the origin of that word church. As we pointed out, it gives you the Germanic origins of this word. Let's go back here. See, we've been under a lot of delusions, and one of the delusions is the word church, the word Gentile, the word Jew. So let's go back here. Look at these words here. We see Proto-Germanic, right? Old English, which is part of the Germanic tree. We see Norse is still part of the Germanic tree. Frisian was still part of the Germanic tree. Dutch is still part of the Germanic tree. We see Old Saxon. All of these are still part of the Germanic tree. Now, Greek is not part of the Germanic tree, but it's still part of one of the four trunks of the English, or should we say the Proto-Indo-European language. All right. So that's why I want to slow this down. So now look at all of these countries, look at all these territories here. And matter of fact, before I continue, let me bring this slide up. I'm gonna copy a slide over so you guys can get a visual when I say the Proto-Germanic trunk. Let me bring this over real quick. That's why family languages is very important. That's why we see it stressed in Genesis chapter 10. One of the very chapters that we inside the Christian church was told not to worry about. When come to find out, we should have paid attention to these. Let me pull this up real quick. Now, this is not what I want. This is what I want. Two opinions. All right, let me bring up this tree here. I'm going to pull this over, and family, and I just want you guys to just really pay attention to this, because I know it can be hard, because I know when we look at the Bible, many of us don't think that the Bible, or actually in our minds, we think that the Bible is the, when you look and reading those English words there, many don't view it as these are transliterations. This is not the original writings. All right. These are not the original writings, but let me pull this over so that way you guys can get a visual of where I'm getting at. All right, let me pull this over here real quick. And this is how we've all been duped. And I'm going to tell you again, this is how we've all been duped. So I'm going to post this right here. All right, let me get back to the slide here. All right, let's skip over. All right, I put this tree here. Indo-European language. Let's pull up this tree here. Now, remember what I said, that the Proto-Indo-European language has four trunks. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. These are the four trunks. Now, remember I said one of the trunks is the Germanic trunk, right? You see Balto-Slavo-Germanic, but then we see it breaks into two, the Proto-Germanic, and of course here the Balto-Slavic. But then we see the Aryano-Greco-Armenic, and we see that breaks off into a trunk. And then here it splits in two. We see the Greek languages here, the languages that comes from the Greek, Doric. We see Ionic. You know, these are some of the languages that stems from the Greek, extended from the Greek. But if we follow this trunk here, this is the trunk that we're on. We're on the Proto-Germanic trunk, right? Because this splits into two. Now, if we stay on this trunk, now we see it breaks into two. You have Northern Germanic and you have Western Germanic, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And this is important, family. Remember when I gave you the definition, it pointed out with Frisian, Danish, English in the definition of church. And notice that we're still dealing with what? The Germanic trunk. Those are Germanic languages. So let me go back to that slide here. Now you guys making me go geek mode, but it's good. Let's go back over to the word church. Let's back it up here. Now look at what you see here. Okay, Norse, that's still German, Frisian, Dutch. These are Germanic languages. English. So when we go back over to here, let's go back. Look at what we see here. Frisian, Dutch, Flemish, English. That's part of the Western Germanic. But we also saw Danish, Swedish. That's part of the Northern Germanic. Let me zoom it in so you guys can see it. All right. That's why I say, family, see, when I do my studies is not just from the perspective of dealing with geographics and all of that, archaeological. Part of when you really understand archaeological research, it deals with languages. You have to understand how to research languages, right? And this is how I can prove who's not the people of the book in terms of who's not ancient Israelites through this language tree here. All right. You also see here, look at it, the Persians right here. We also would see Hindi, Sanskrit, right? The people in India, look at this, Indo-Irani. See, these will give you some key information. But anyway, don't want to get too caught up into this, but I just want to pull this tree up so that way you guys can get a visual of what I'm explaining, because I know it could be a lot to try to unlearn and learn again on the fly. So let's get back here to this source here. Oops, don't want to do that. Let's get back to the source. Let's go back here, right? So remember, let's go back. Church. The etymology of this word is generally assumed to be from the Greek kurio oikos, in other words, house of God. But this is most improbable, as the word existed in all Celtic dialects long before the introduction of Greek. No doubt the word means a circle. The places of worship among the Germans, look at this, the places of worship among the Germans and Celtic nations were always circular. Witness the complex of Stonehenge. So Stonehenge is the original church. We're bringing out what truly the original church is. It has nothing to do with the Israelites. The original church, as you see here, points to the Celtic. The places of worship among the Germans and Celtic nations were always circular. And then it gives some additional examples here. Witness the complex of Stonehenge, Avebury, Silbury Hill, Stanton Drew, Dolmens of Brittany, the relics of India. So this is giving you clarity here that word church has nothing to do with the ancient Israelites. Actually, if we study it from the ancient Hebrew, right? When Christ said on this rock, the proper translation, if we want to make it proper, it should be the whole assembly of witnesses, the Israelites. All right. But let me touch on just a little bit more of that, and then we'll wrap this up. Let's go to Matthew chapter 16, verse 18. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Guess what? That's a word of confusion. The Messiah never said that he was going to build a new church or replace Israel. He will rebuild, restore, repair the called out assembly of witnesses, the Israelites. So the word church is supposedly a transliteration of the Greek word ecclesia. I'm saying supposedly, because here we're dealing with a physical building. But what Christ is describing, it's not a physical building. He's dealing with people. But that word church in the Celtic never referred to a people. So this is why we cannot insert poor teachings and saying the church is a people. No, it's not. In the Celtic, it was in German. Remember, we said Germanic, that's still Ashkenaz. And their culture, the church was actually a physical building, a place of worship. This is why there's a lot of confusion and ambiguity about this word. I'm sure many of you guys got confused by it too. It's like, wait a minute, is the church the people or is it the building? The church is the building according to the origins of the word. But when we go to Ecclesia, let's see what it says here. It says here, right? It says, and let me go back here. A calling out, a religious congregation, assembly, church. See, this is still word of confusion because, again, now we're seeing Proto-Germanic constructs here inside this definition. But if we go to the in-depth definition, the deeper portion of this here, that's why it's good to get an in-depth definition Bible, or dictionary, because look at what you see here. I'll just pull it up so you guys can see it here. It says a gathering of citizens called out from their homes into some public place of an assembly. Who would be those people, especially at this time that the Messiah is dealing with? Look at what it says here, the assembly of the Israelites. So that's the proper context. So when Christ, with the transliteration that you see, on this rock, I will build my church. No, Christ never said that. In Hebrew, he would have said on this rock, or it would have been ha kal quahal ha idaf yashara'al. In other words, the whole assembly of witnesses, the Israelites. I hope you guys grab hold of this. That's what this means. That's what, when we see ecclesia, that's why I say that word church is a word of confusion and confuse so many people, because you don't hear anyone in the Christian church or Catholic church saying that word actually means the assembly of the Israelites, the assembly of witnesses of the Israelites, the gathering of citizens. Who are the citizens? Israel. That's what Christ is referring to. All right. So this is where we get to the word charms, and we're going to wrap up with this, because the whole the whole Maga have people inside in charms. They got people with charms. People are caught up in these charms, witchcraft. So what are charms? Incantation, magic, charm, spell, enchantment, religious formula. But here's the kicker: canary. Have people singing like a canary bird. Singing like a canary bird. Got the people singing like a canary bird, praising this person, Donald Trump. It says to recite or cast a magic spell, to enchant, to fill someone, in other words, with desire. So when we go to the Hebrew definition of this word charm, it says here, to fascinate, right? To join specifically by means of spells, to fascinate, charm, charmer, couple together, to tie, magic charms. Come on, family. We, growing up, guess what? We all had to deal with the deception of charms. What do you mean by that? How many of you guys watched Disney when you was a kid? How many of you guys watched Disney as a kid? If you watched Disney as a kid, remember that they had several cartoons, like, for example, what's her name? Snow White, Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty. Who was the prince inside that those cartoons? He was called Prince what? If y'all remember what he was called, type it inside the comment section. He was called Prince what? Because I'm going to show you how they were spell casting spells on our people, even with those cartoons. What was he called? Prince what? All right, let's see here. Give some additional shout outs. Cedric Lewis, charming. That's right, Prince Charming. Rochelle Love, charming. Elder in the building. Thank you, Elder. Really appreciate the Cash App. I just saw it here. Family, let's give the Elder that's in the building. She's been a tremendous blessing. been following us for a while, and Elder, get with me because I want to fly you out here to whether it's the Passover or dedications. Let me know. Shoot me an email, and that way we can make some arrangements offline. But love you, Elder. Really appreciate the love and support. All right. So charming, into focus, to see rather. Charming. Beach Brother Production, charming. Beans cornbread, charming. Right. So far we see charming, right? So far everyone is in agreement with charming. Right. I'm seeing nothing but charming. All right. As you can see, nothing but charming. We're unanimous with it. All right. So why did I ask you these guys? Why did I ask you this question? His name was Prince Charming. And I just gave you the definition of what charms mean. Let's go back here. Right? Charms, to fascinate, charm, charmer. Let's go back here. Prince Charming, right? Magic, spell, incantation, songs, enchantment, canary. See, what we were taught through these cartoons is to search for Prince Charming. For the women, you want a Prince Charming, right? For the men, trying to be Prince Charming. Do you guys know who actually Prince Charming is? It's Hasatan. He is what? The prince of what? The air. That means that Prince Charming, Hasatan, the prince of this air, he's good with manipulating. He has the power to manipulate things. Have you singing, if you're not careful, like a canary? Oh, come on now. Come on now. Using what? Songs, using music. All of us got caught up in charms. Come on, family. If you experienced a broken heart, guess what? When you was in love, especially when you were young, they called it puppy love. You were singing like a canary until you got your heart broke, right? Because you were caught up in that charm. See, cartoons taught us to look for who? Prince Charming. Think about it. You had a witch calling into a mirror, right? To get a reflection, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all? And then the mirror would, in the reflection, will tell her under spell, but in the cartoon, because that's really witchcraft, family. What in that cartoon, the mirror said there's someone else. So what happened? That witch got an apple. That apple is part of witchcraft. I'm not sure if you guys know this. Bobbing for apples is witchcraft. Bobbing for apples is witchcraft. And when you slice the apple in half horizontally, you'll see why it was used as satanic worship, satanic rituals, because you'll see the star right in the center. You'll see a pentagram according to them. So again, we all been under that spell of Prince Charming. Okay, so when we look at Donald Trump, guess what? He has mastered spell casting. Think about it. Have you guys ever thought that someone in his position, someone with all the things that he has done, can run for president again? He led an insurrection. He literally came that close to overthrowing the government. Over 100 people was injured. He had, and here's the kicker, family, he had military personnel. He had lawyers. He had business people out there tearing up and invaded the White House or the Capitol Hill, went in there, and literally he had Congress. The people had Congress fearing for their life. They had to go through the tunnels underneath to go into hiding. They were in Nancy Pelosi's desk. They defecated on her desk. They defecated in many of those guys' chairs. Do you guys remember that? And through the manipulation, he's able to run again. Come on, family.
The same person that literally admits to grabbing women by their private parts, saying that they love it, saying that because he's a star, he can do whatever he wants by grabbing women by their private parts. Come on, family. So he's been convicted, got 32 convicted felonies, 32 or 34, and yet he can run for president again. While you got brothers and sisters who have a felony and can't vote again, cannot vote. But he can run for president. That tells you and confirms what I just taught you just here. I mean, just now with this lesson. I could go deeper into it, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm riding with Kamala Harris either, because I'm not riding with her. But again, I want to show you guys that when we start dealing with these politicians, we can't not keep continuing giving these guys a get out of jail free card. We can't Trump like we was programmed. Our ancestors were programmed to defending crooked pastors. Oh, that's just pastor being pastor. You know what? That's just Trump being Trump. He don't mean that. Come on, family. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up, because I'm gonna throw this question on you, like Paul had to throw this question on Israel. Let's go back here. Let's fast forward here, and we wrap this up. Right? We're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna go here. Who bewitched you, family? Let me say that again. Who bewitched you? That's right. That's right, beans and cornbread. Brothers and sisters with felonies can't even find jobs to support themselves. Do you know this man, according to his rap sheet, he's going to be able to get into a position that requires security clearance, the highest level of security clearance. If any one of you guys had his type of record, you would not be able to get a security clearance. You would not be able to fulfill your obligation. If someone offered you a position that requires a security clearance and you have these things, you wouldn't even be able to obtain a security clearance. But yet he's able to obtain a security clearance even while he was inside the office. Now he's getting ready to do what? Run again? He's getting ready to run again. Come on, family. Who bewitched you? Who got you under this spell, this Cabalistic spell? Who got you under this? Who have you under this spell, this Aleister Crowley spell? Who got you under this spell of Maga or Magas? Who got you under this wicked spell? Who bewitched you? Galatians chapter 3. Look at what it says here. Galatians chapter 3, starting at verse 1. Look at what it says here. All right. All right. Let me say this real quick. I see someone posting about the rapture. Nope. Rapture is not biblical. That word rapture is not even in the scriptures. That word rapture means rape. It means kidnap. It means to apprehend. It means to snatch up. No, we're not being raptured. Our ancestors were raptured in the transatlantic world war. Our ancestors were raptured. They were kidnapped. They were raped. They were murdered. That's if you want to go with the rapture. No, we're not promoting that rapture doctrine. That's one of the things. I'm going to do another teaching on that. And this is no disrespect to you. I think it's Senior Apostle Nathan, but just want to give you clarity. Give others clarity. No, there's no such thing as a rapture. That's not biblical. All right. So let's go to Galatians chapter 3, verse 1. Look at what Paul says. Who, O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you that ye should not obey the truth? That's the key I really want to highlight. But he says, before whose eyes Yahushua, Jesus the Christ, hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you. But the key here that I want to point out, it says he asked a question, a critical question. Who hath bewitched you that ye should not obey the truth? Let's break this down real quick. Let's see what bewitched means. It says, in a nutshell, to fascinate by false representations, to charm. Okay. So, and when we go to the etymological dictionary of bewitched, look at what it says here. It says, cast a spell on, enchant, subject to sorcery, to enchant, practice witchcraft, fascinate, charm, pass resistance. So what Paul was saying here is who drew irresistibly your attention and interest through false representations and spell casting to gain control over you, that you will not obey the truth. Now, the Hebrew word for truth is aman. And aman transliterates to truth. It transliterates to trust. It transliterates to faith. It transliterates to permanent. It transliterates to consistency. It transliterates to confirm to be true. It transliterates to go to the right hand. So what Paul is asking the question here is, who got in your ear, got you so caught up with what they're saying that it caused you to become inconsistent and doing the things that Yah have called you to do? Who? Let me get this person out of here. My apologies for flashing this person on the screen. See, family, this is what religion do. Let me get this apostle person out here. See, when you dealing with these type of lessons, and it's unfortunate that when you have people with titles, and then when I see posts like this person posted, that tells me this person don't understand even what being an apostle is. An apostle, want to be truthful about it, an apostle is just simply a missionary. Apostle Paul was a missionary. He went on missions. So for you to post that disrespectful message here, and I flash it on the screen accidentally, tells me that you have no clue about the scriptures and you are under a spirit of charms. So instead of you being respectful to everyone here, and I said I was going to bring up the definition of what rapture means, but instead of you being patient, you decided that you want to continue to push that narrative that is not even biblical. And you're tying right into the lesson right here. And you're, according to your title, you're supposed to be a leader. Do you teach the people that supposedly be following you? Do you allow them to disrespect you like you just disrespected this forum here, this platform right here, this teaching? And yet you want to carry the title of an apostle? And I know some probably saying, Pastor, why are you going in on the apostle publicly? Because this person posted in the public forum disrespectful comments, even after I said I was going to break down the word rapture. This person posted some crazy stuff here. So I'm going to give open rebuke. Open rebuke is better than secret love. And this is why so many people are that are caught up in the things that they're caught up in, because we have so-called leaders who call themselves holding titles and don't even know what the title is. Want to hijack the reputation of Hamashiach, even though using the transliterated name Jesus, want to use that to hijack and put and cast spells among the people. You just cast spells. You were disrespectful. You didn't do what a true apostle would have done. You didn't do what a true disciple would have done, because truth be told, it says whenever the disciples had a question for Christ, they pulled him over privately and asked their questions. You're not an apostle. And if you say you are, hit me up offline and I'll show you why you need to get back to the basics and learn what a true apostle is. Anyway, rebuke that spirit, family. So this is the point that Paul was making, family. Who drew irresistibly your attention and interest through false representations and spell casting to gain control over you, that you will not obey the truth, family. And this is what we see happening with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, and not just with Donald Trump, I'll just say these politicians, people that are supporting these politicians, they have people that call themselves Christians behaving worse than people out there in the world. You got a so-called Christian pastor, Caucasian pastor, who is the son or grandson of the late Jimmy Swaggart, sitting up here trying to tell some Negro pastors, some black pastors, I don't like to use the term pastor, but for the sake of the conversation, using black pastors, calling them out because they won't vote for Donald Trump. Come on, family. Didn't call out the Asian community, didn't call out the Spanish community. Very silent on the things that occurred that just occurred up in, I believe it was Pennsylvania, either Pennsylvania or New York, the rally that they had up there with all the racial things that was going on. Didn't call that out, but rebuked Negro pastors because they wouldn't vote for, because they're supporting Kamala Harris. Now, I want to make this clear. I am not supporting, I'm not pushing neither one of them. But the point that I'm making, this is what happens when you are up under the spell of witchcraft. This is what you see. You got these people trying to use the scriptures to justify behaviors. You have people trying to use Christ to justify abortion. Come on, family. You had Democrats, some Democrat preachers trying to use Christ as a get a jail free card to try to push abortion. Come on, family. That is witchcraft. So again, family, who drew you? Who got you so caught up, that fascinated you, caught your attention, that you're willing to throw away the truth just so that way you can follow man? Come on, family. Think about it. Think about it. People are throwing away their careers. It's to the point that you have certain states had to issue internally memos to lawyers saying that, look, if any of you guys put anything out there stating that the presidential election or any type of election the system is faulty, then you're going to risk being disbarred. You're going to lose your license. Why? Because many start getting in that spell of witchcraft and they began to compromise even their livelihood. Come on, family. Come on, family. Thanks from Princess Leah. I didn't know he was still alive. Okay, he's still alive. So he was sitting right there in the congregation. Didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. So family, man, when you get to this point, then guess what? It's no longer about Christ. You're worshiping the individual. You're worshiping the individual. So family, let me do this just in case that apostle that we blocked here, who posted the disrespectful comments. Let me post you guys what the word rapture means. Let me post the word rapture here. Let me post the definition real quick. You guys know how I do. Let me post it real quick. All right. All righty. Let me post it here real quick. Religion. That's the spiritual Babylon, family. Religion, man's system, these political parties, they are all part of the system of man. That's the Babylon that Revelation is telling us to come out from. Because Babylon, this religious system, the systems of men, is all around the world. And guess what? We need to come out of that system. The physical Babylon has been destroyed, no longer exists. But guess what? Those tentacles are all around the world. We need to come out of religion, family. So let's go ahead and define this word rapture real quick, since I mentioned it. And if that elder is still watching, here you go. Look at what it says. Act of carrying off, right? It goes on to say seizure, rape, kidnapping, a carrying off, abduction, snatching away, rape. Look at it. Look at here. Rape. This is the true tense of the rapture. The rapture you're trying to preach is not biblical. But this is the true rapture right here. And if you want to know when this rapture occurred, start with 1452, when the Roman Catholic Church, which the Christian church extends from, decided by Pope Nicholas V, signed an edict, signed a papal, signed signed the papal bull to apply the rules of war, to our ancestors by enslaving them. See, this is where I'm going to put this ignorant. This is, like I said, people. I made it clear what my stance is, but let me put this out here. We get trolls even within those that call themselves being awakened. So just because I'm going in on Donald Trump, you want to say I'm promoting Kamala Harris? Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. If you want to see some of my old videos, even on Facebook, going in on both Democrats and Republicans, prove it. Prove it. See, you got people that have these fake, I'm going to call it like that, fake Hebrew accounts, because you hurt their feelings about a particular candidate. Now, if I was railing against Kamala Harris, that person would have been clapping their hands. But it's enough people bashing on Kamala Harris. I don't have to join in and bash. I'm going to bash from Donald Trump tonight. I'm going to bash on him because we have enough people. We got so many people in our community, and you hear this, and I'm sure my brother Moxie, I see him in again, right? They do this. Well, you know what? I don't care about either candidate, but you know what? And before you know it, they going in on Kamala Harris. Oh, she's not black. She's not this. She's not that. Okay. Well, guess what? Donald Trump is not black. Oh, Kamala Harris, she's this. Okay, yes, I understand. Kamala Harris, hey, I agree. She got some stuff about her. But don't make it seem like it's just her. Because if you're not going against calling out Donald Trump, then guess what you're doing? You're promoting him. So anyway, family, that's why I want to share this at the end here about the word rapture. And family, I know that, I when it comes to this, I don't bite my tongue because I don't mince my words, because it's been too many pastors mincing their words when people become disrespectful. Christ didn't mince his words. If you study the word and you see some of the things that Christ had said, man, Christ he was calling people out, and he pulled out a whip. He made his own whip and began to beat the money changers. So guess what? He beat the money changers. So if you have a problem with me discussing politics, if you have a problem with me discussing Donald Trump, going in on Donald Trump tonight, because there's not many people that are really going in on Donald Trump, I'll just do like Big Red on 5 Heartbeats. My office hours are from 9 to 5. Shoot me an email. Or I could do another live and you could jump right on, and we can hammer this out in front of the people. All right. Anyway, y'all know I'm a geek, family. I'm a movie buff as well. I didn't tell you guys. So again, family, this is what's going to happen. What's going to happen. But let me get some shout outs here. I know I went longer than what I anticipated on, and I'll make a couple of short videos out of this. Again, I want to thank Ambush Predator. Thank you for the love and support. Thank Elder in the building. Thank you for the love and support. Hallelujah. Thawada, Pastor Kelly. Appreciate you. Also, Cedric Lewis, thank you for the super sticker. And Georgetta Pinnock, thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate the love and support. And family, like I said, I'm not that pastor. I'm not that pastor that's going to just sit around or let people say anything that they want to say and I just say, I love you. No, I'm not going to do that. We got to get outside that framework that we were given by way of the people that have oppressed us. We got to be able to call things out. Christ called things out. He called some Israelites or some Edomites that was you see the word Jew there, but he called them out. In John chapter 8, he said, your father's the devil. He said, your father's the devil. He even called Peter out. He said, Peter, he called him, he said, Satan, get behind me, Satan. Called Peter Satan. So Christ wasn't this wimpy hippie that we've been painted. He told his disciples, hey, guess what? If somebody come up and try to rob you for what you have in your hand, pull out your sword. Come on, family. Christ was not teaching what many have taught us, is to basically, in a nutshell, have a defeated mindset, a passive mindset. Christ was boss. He was boss. He didn't play. He didn't play. But with that being said, family, don't want to talk your ears off. Don't want to take away from the lesson. You know how it goes when I do lessons like this. Troll's going to troll. But I just want to do a lesson on this guy right here, these two guys right here. Show you guys, family. Show you guys here that we got a problem here. And the problem that we're going to have, my concern, and I stress this, I'm on record for saying this when just before Trump lost the election, I said my concern is if and when he lose the election, what he's going to do. And he did exactly what I said. I was concerned about. When I'm concerned about this election, whether he win or lose, we are going to be right back in that same predicament. It's going to be worse because now he made it clear he's proven to do that. He's going to go back at his people, those that he feel like went against him. And then what is he going to do with if he lose? So if he win, he's going to go at people. If he lose, look, he's already setting it up. He's setting it up that if he lose, he's going to say the elections were rigged, and we will have a worse situation. Like I said, it's like, man, both of them are bad. Kamala Harris, guess what? She's like arm in arm with the name stealers. She's anyway. I was going to say something, but I'll save it for a lesson over the weekend. So it's like, man, we've been conditioned to voting for the lesser of the two evils. That's not biblical. That's not biblical. We're not supposed to vote for the lesser of the two evils. Both of them are evil. So you're still supporting both. There's no such thing as good poison, right? I'm sure none of you guys would drink out of a glass that somebody said is clean. They cleaned the glass, but they told you poison was stored in that glass, even though it's clean. They got all the poison out. You want to give them side eye. You're not drinking out of that glass. So there's no such thing as good poison. But that's what we have been conditioned because of what's in front of us. Vote for the lesser of the two evils. Anyway, let's leave that alone, family. But I really appreciate you guys. Going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. We'll be back online. We may be back online tomorrow night. If not, I will upload a short video. I may even, like I said, take some highlights out of this, do a short video on what we just covered today. But I got some other content that I want to share with you guys, some things that I really want to get us to some discussions, some much needed discussions. So with that being said, family, I want to thank everyone for the love and support. And I think I saw one more super chat came in before we wrap up. Let me go ahead and give some love here real quick. Yasharala, thank you. Ban Malak, thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. And family, give Yasharala some love and support. And Moxie, feel free if you want to hit me up before I turn in. I'll be up for a little while longer. Give me a call. If not, I will give you a call tomorrow. Love you, family. With that being said, let's give the garbage can. I haven't pulled out the garbage can award in a while, but let's give the garbage can to Elon Musk. Let's give the garbage can to that Maga witchcraft stuff. Let's just give the garbage can to all of those guys. All right. And, let's just, for our brothers and sisters, those that may be mad, because I know there's going to be trolls that's going to be trolling inside the comment section because what I said about Donald Trump, they're going to be like this inside the comment section. So many of are having that approach, that reaction to me going in on Donald Trump. So I'm going to give this award to you guys as well. And actually, I'm going to add a 3-piece to it. And toss it out with the trash. Give you your order to go, family. So with that being said, family, you know me, I got to pull that out, pull a little humor out. No love lost. But with that being said, family, really appreciate you guys. In the words of the Most High to Moses in Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14, when Israel was, they were in a state of fear to the point that they were ready to go back to Egypt. Because they were at what appeared to be a dead end. Moses had to give them these encouraging words by way of the Most High, right? He said, "Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh." These Egyptians that you see here today, they will not have power over you ever again. The Most High will fight for you. But here's the kicker, family. We have to hold our peace. Calculated silence. Can't go back, can't stay here, keep moving forward. Shalom.
The lion won't sleep tonight. The lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back